Dosser talked about a lot, didn't he? He won't fight this, he won't fight that. Who's a coward now, coward? Who's a shithouse now? You useless.
Very difficult fight for him. It's a very difficult fight for him. You know, you can't afford to bite on Itauma's triggers and feints. He's got to land something early to get some respect off him, Moses, as well. And it's called the body snatcher. I think he's got to dig that body. He's got to try and take away the sharpness from Itauma by investing early.
I don't know what kind of game he's playing outside the ring, but I know he's lost a lot of weight. He's taking his fight serious, and he's coming to obviously trying to ruin the party. So it's obviously my job to.
Tyson Fury isn't holding back on his thoughts, and when Tyson speaks, the heavyweight division listens. This time, his message to rising phenom Moses Itauma is crystal clear. Go in there and give Dillian Whyte the most brutal beating of his career. No pacing yourself. No feeling out. No letting Whyte settle. Fury is urging Moses.
I think he's one of the best of all time. I really do. I think he's one of the best heavyweights of all time. And his movement is so different. One of the things that was interesting, well, they were talking about the fight, and AJ was Tony Bellows was talking about when he fought him, and AJ was saying that when he fought him, it was the most exhausted he's ever been, because he's always moving. There's no rest with him.
Moses to bring unrelenting pressure from the opening bell until Whyte's legs betray him and his will completely snaps. It's a ruthless prescription from a man who's made a career out of dismantling big names. In Fury's own way, it's both praise and a challenge. Make him regret ever signing that contract. He's not saying Moses should just win. He's saying Moses should dominate in such a way that Whyte's decision to step in the ring becomes...
It's going to be interesting to see how much that Dillian Whyte has left. And could this be potential? I think it does have the potential to do what Martin McCauley did to Jared Anderson. Maybe it's too early, or maybe he passes with flying colours. And that's why you got to watch it and find out. But one thing I will say about Moses is he's a very good fighter, good little boxer, good puncher, and a lovely kid as well. It's like a sport.
Becomes a haunting memory. When Tyson talks about Moses, the admiration is genuine. He's a good fighter. He's big, he's strong, he's tough, he's game, he's got a good punch on him. He's definitely a man that needs a lot of respect. But in the same breath, Fury points out the glaring truth.
If you can get guys out in the first and second round, then why not? Like, if anyone was to see how I train in camp, like for this fight, I've done one 6-rounder, two 6-rounders, sorry, 2 8-rounds, and the rest have been 10s.
Respect aside, Moses has the tools to dismantle a slower, hittable, and battle-worn Whyte. Years of hard fights have left Whyte with mileage on the clock and dents in the armor. Against a young, fast, and fresh predator, that's a dangerous position. To Fury, Whyte is the perfect target for Moses to bully, batter, and finish in ruthless style. Moses has already made it clear the early knockout is planned.
I think if they keep winning, yeah. I mean, look, Moses is an exceptional talent. You know, he's been in the game a long time. He's got a very, long-standing amateur record and pedigree.
Still, he's prepared to go the distance if needed. His mindset is sharp. The best chins are the ones that don't get tested. The aim of boxing is to hit and not get hit. The truth is, Whyte's chin has been tested and shattered far too often. Even Eddie Hearn, who has guided Whyte through much of his career, can't hide how highly he rates Moses.
You know, I'm fighting Godzilla.
So what are you then if he's Godzilla?
I don't know. There's smart people in the Japanese movie that runs around when Godzilla is trampling Tokyo town.
The civilians.
I'm one of them. Yeah.
I love Dillian, but I do expect Moses to win in great style. Hearn admits. He sees what Fury sees, pedigree, talent, hunger, and he knows deep down that Whyte's war-torn body is unlikely to cope with the speed, power, and relentlessness Moses will bring. Whyte, for his part, tries to keep things light in the build-up. As a kid, my dad used to say random stuff. Everyone wants to go to heaven, but no one wants to die. Long story short, I believe in myself. It's vintage Whyte, deflecting pressure with humor and confidence. But witty lines won't save him from the reality of facing a young heavyweight nicknamed Godzilla for his destructive tendencies. Fraser Clarke sees it the same way. He believes this fight isn't built for the judges. Moses Itauma.
I don't know Moses personally. I've spoken to him a few times, but I think he's definitely a man for the occasion. And I do think, with him being a headliner, I hope he doesn't get too excited and not do his usual job. But I think we wanted to make a statement, and I think he's well capable of doing that.
Is a man for the big stage, and headlining only fuels his fire. Clarke is careful not to overhype. He warns against getting carried away, but he knows the truth. Moses has ice in his veins. He's not just some untested prospect. He's a cold-blooded finisher who's been dismantling grown men since his pro debut. Against Whitey, Clarke says the statement could come in the form of a savage early stoppage, the type of ending that echoes across the heavyweight division. Whitey's durability has been slipping for years. The first heavy shot from Moses could set the tone for a short, brutal night. Clarke knows it, the fans know it, and Moses knows it. This isn't just about winning, it's about sending a message. No heavyweight, young or old, is safe. Still, some analysts raise the obvious question: can Moses maintain his pace beyond the early round? Adel Ladipo points out that Moses hasn't been forced past the second round in his last 8 fights. On paper, it's a...
Look at his box record, I was like, you've not gone past 2 rounds in your last 8 fights. So you've just been 1 round or 2 rounds. So is the gas tank still there? Moses is known for his speed and his footwork. How does that look at round 6 or 7? Like, when you've landed on someone and they've not fallen over or bowled over, what does that look like now? And there are levels in boxing. Like, even at world level, there are like several levels within world level.
Valid concern, but in reality, we might never find out against Whyte. Moses' speed, footwork, and punch variety overwhelm opponents before fatigue ever comes into play. Ladipo notes Whitey's best chance is to drag Moses into deep waters. The later rounds where experience and grit might matter more, but getting there means eating sharp, clean shots round after round. At 36, with years of wars behind him, Whitey's chin and reflexes are far from what they once were. The idea of this going to round 6 or 7 feels optimistic. The more realistic scenario is that it's over by round 2. Moses doesn't need to prove he can swim if he plans on drowning Whitey before the deep end even appears. Even voices outside the traditional boxing bubble are weighing in. Joe Rogan, never shy about sharing his combat sports takes, calls Moses' skill set next level. That's high praise from someone who's seen elite fighters across multiple disciplines. Rogan isn't just impressed.
So he's got just unbelievable movement, his angles, the way he boxes, his fucking feints and movement.
He's predicting a sharper, more dangerous Moses than we've ever seen. The movement, the angles, the feints. These are the tools that make big punchers like YT miss, get frustrated, and make mistakes. Against Moses, a single mistake can be fatal. Rogan warns that if YT tries to bully his way inside, he's playing with fire. Moses doesn't just evade, he punishes. Those unpredictable angles mean YT could be swinging at shadows while eating lightning-fast counters. This isn't just speed versus power, it's youth, IQ, and precision against an aging brawler who's been figured out before. To Rogan, this has the makings of a showcase performance for Moses, the kind of fight that etches his name deeper into heavyweight conversations. Gareth A. Davies.
Thinking about this earlier, Umar, and I was thinking that next week in Riyadh, Dillian needs to try and get in Moses' head in the fight week. And that might mean an aggressive assault at the press conference. It might mean
Davies offers a tactical angle. If YT wants any kind of edge, it has to come before the first bell. In the ring, Moses' skill, speed, and power will be too much. Davies suggests YT turn the build-up into a psychological battlefield, maybe by launching verbal or even physical assaults at the press conference. But even here, the odds are stacked. Moses doesn't strike anyone as the type to be rattled. In fact, attempts to get in his head might only fuel him. YT can bark all he wants, but no mind games can block a straight left to the jaw. Derek Chisora, never one to sugarcoat, says YT's chances are worse than hitting the jackpot. To him, Moses may only be 24, but he already has the poise of a seasoned champion. His footwork.
You're boxing a guy who's 24 years old, who's got all his faculties right, getting trained by one of the best trainers in the United Kingdom, and then mate, it's like you got more chance of winning the lottery than you beating that Moses Itauma. Let's be.
timing and shot selection are years ahead of his age, thanks to elite training. Chisora has been in the trenches with the best, and when he says you've got virtually no chance, it's not disrespect, it's the cold truth. This fight, to him, is more than a contest. It's the changing of the guard. YT's manager clings to hope, saying that if Dillian gets it right, he can beat any heavyweight. But that's the problem. When was the last time he truly got it right? Even on a perfect night, it's hard to see him keeping pace with a relentless, sharp, and hungry Moses. Yes, mental strength matters, but so do reflexes, speed, and the ability to take a punch. YT's chin has been cracked by Anthony Joshua, Alexander Povetkin, and Fury himself. Moses will test it again, this time with surgical accuracy and volume. Simon Jordan sees the bigger picture. To him, this fight is a truth test for both men. For YT, it's a chance to see if he still has anything left of his...
I believe if Dillian gets it right, he can beat any heavyweight in the world. You know, he's another fighting man that believes in himself, and is mentally very strong. Mentally very, very strong man. He just has to get it right on the night. And this is the heavyweight business. You know, the fact that he'll be the underdog, that will motivate him and push him to do what he knows that he can.
Former elite self. For Moses, it's a chance to answer the one question no one has been able to pose yet. How does he react when someone actually pushes back? Jordan wonders if YT can be the first. But the reality is, if Moses blasts him out in 2 or 3 rounds, it's not because the test never came, it's because Moses never allowed it. This is youth, speed, and relentless energy meeting age, wear, and fading resistance. Adam Smith frames it perfectly. Saturday night is another chapter in Moses Itauma's boxing education. He starts as the clear favorite, and the numbers prove why. 12 MIT-0, 10 knockouts, a flawless amateur record. That's not high.
Itauma. I mean, Dillian is a former elite fighter. We're going to see if he's still an elite fighter, but we're also going to learn a little bit more about Moses, because if Moses goes in there and blasts him out in 2 or 3 rounds, I don't know what we make of it, but what we want to see is Dillian put it upon Moses and see what the reaction is, because no one has done it, have they, Spence? No one has troubled this kid.
It's evidence. And what makes Moses even more dangerous is the respect he commands from boxing's biggest names. Fury praises him, Rogan hypes him, and even YT's own promoter gives him the edge. That's rare for a fighter so young. Against YT, Moses isn't just defending an undefeated streak, he's looking to prove he can dismantle a former world title challenger with ease. For him, this fight is a career accelerator. For YT, it could be career-ending. The odds say it's more coronation than contest. Everything about this fight screams crossroads. Moses Itauma, young, unbeaten, feared, and backed by legends, steps in with a veteran in Dillian Whyte, who's in last chance territory. Years of brutal fights have left their mark. His corner insists he can beat anyone if he gets it right, but history says otherwise. If Moses wins and wins big...
Whatever happens next Saturday with Moses Itauma, it's all part of the education. I think obviously he starts as a favourite because of his form. He's undefeated in 12, 10 knockouts, perfect record as an amateur. And I've said many times what I love about Moses is the fact that other great heavyweights talk about him in such glowing terms.
It's the kind of performance that fast-tracks him toward title contention. If YT shocks the world, it's the ultimate redemption story, proof the old guard still has bite. This isn't just about punches, it's about mental strength, composure under fire, and who truly wants it more when the lights are brightest. Riyadh will be the proving ground. By the final bell, if it even comes to that, one man's career will be surging forward, and the other's may be at its end. The question is simple. Are you backing the young lion Moses Itauma to dominate and retire a veteran, or do you believe Dillian Whyte has one last upset in him?